Wow, this record-breaking Bitcoin crash could potentially set you up for one of the biggest generational wealth gains of your life if you play it right. And in this video, I'm going to give you some important dates to show you specific historical events that lead to show you exactly when the Bitcoin price has bottomed out every time in prior bear markets, and some specific correlations on when inflation starts to peak and curve downward. That's when we start to see things start to rally. Bitcoin saw 10 consecutive weeks of dumpage right here, with one tiny green candle in there, which didn't count for anything, and then 2 more capitulation weeks of straight dumping until we came right down to the 200-week SMA. Now, jumping right into some historical tendencies, after the massive 2017 bull run, we came and crashed down only to find support here on the 200 SMA. We came down and hit the 200 SMA again during the Black Swan event in March 2020, the C19 pandemic event, and that boom led us up into our latest rally, which was our 2021 big cycle where we had a double top and then came right down again. And for some reason, history also points to Bitcoin never crashing below its previous all-time high from the previous cycle. So if we break below this, that'll be another record-breaking thing, but we are in some drastic uncharted territories right now, which again, I'm looking at as a massive opportunity, and I'll let you know what I'm going to be doing with my investments towards the end of this video. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button and subscribe for more. But let's look at some other records we're breaking right now. If we take a quick look at the RSI on the weekly, we're currently down here at 26. Anything below 30 is considered oversold, and we haven't been there literally ever. If you come back down to the actual beginning of Bitcoin, it shot up and it has never came down to where we are at right here with this level. That we have the lowest relative strength index in the entirety of Bitcoin's life ever. If we come to the monthly RSI, again, we're down here where we have never ever been before. And you can only imagine what goes down must go up. So the next cycle we have, if you start buying and dollar cost averaging into only really good projects, literally only Bitcoin right now, I wouldn't even be delving into Ethereum right now because I feel all the altcoins, including Ethereum, are going to lose a lot of their value in correlation to Bitcoin, because when everything crashes, people pull all their money out of those altcoins, even Ethereum, and put it into Bitcoin because it is the safest cryptocurrency out there. So we're looking at the record-breaking lowest RSI ever right now. If we come to the monthly Bitcoin candles and switch on the Traders Reality Indicators, this is going to show you where there's vector candles. And these vector candles, which are shown by these very bright green candles here, show where there's extreme amounts of volume and trading that has taken place in that area. Now, market makers always like to come and reclaim those vector candles. Well, look, we've pretty much reclaimed almost all of this vector candle, so that's another reason that we are potentially at the bottom here. Now, that's not to say there's not going to be one last capitulation wick that's just going out to liquidate everyone out there right now, and we could crash down to 14, 15, maybe even $10 or $11,000, so I wouldn't be playing with any leverage trades right now. But if you want to get a little cheeky, maybe you can open up a trading account, and I recommend using KuCoin. If you don't have any real trading accounts, I would recommend watching this video right here. I show you step-by-step in a tutorial how to set up a KuCoin account, and you can actually set limit buy orders at 14,000, at 15,000. So if Bitcoin wicks down there in a very quick capitulation candle and then shoots right back up again, your limit order can be tagged and you can immediately ride that candle right on up again. So that's what I'm going to be doing as well. But these are the bottom indicators I'm looking at. If we come and look at the turmoil we are in with inflation right now, it's looking like it's hovering around 8.3%. And I know we had an 8.6% inflation rate, which was higher than expected the last time the Fed spoke about it. And that's really what crashed the markets even harder than before. Even though inflation is so high right now, the US Federal Reserve, the Fed, has been taking actions to raise interest rates, and that's what's increasing the US dollar value. The dollar has now broken through its latest big sign of resistance, where we got rejected in the end of 2016, which led to the Bitcoin 2017 bull run. You see, when the dollar goes down here, that was 2017, the Bitcoin bull run. and then the dollar goes back up. That's when the Bitcoin bear market happens. Then when the dollar got rejected here right around March 2020, when that pandemic crash happened, that's when we went on our latest Bitcoin run and the dollar took a dive. Now that the dollar's going straight up, that's why, again, we're in a massive bear market. Now, what's frightening to me is that the dollar's broken through all of these resistance points, and now we could be seeing the dollar shoot on up to some of these previous all-time highs around 118 or 120. Now, this would spell even more dumpage for things like Bitcoin and the US stock market. Look at this monthly candle we saw on the stock market, just a massive dump. But again, you can see we have here with the yellow line, the 200 SMA, where every time we've pretty much hit that, we have had nice substantial bounces on that. Now with the SPX in the stock market, we could potentially still go down another 6 or 7% before we actually hit the 200 SMA. So that's again why I'm saying if you're going to put money into cryptocurrency, just put in a little bit here and a little bit there. There still could be more dumping to come. So if you know the old adage, buy low, sell high, we're getting to points where it's critically low right now. And anything that you start scooping up now, if you believe in the country and life to go on further after this dump, then you will be in profit in the future. I had to show you a quick Benjamin Cowen video because he also relates the rate of inflation to the bear markets in Bitcoin. So here was 1973. The orange line depicts inflation, and right at the tip of the peak of this inflation here, once it started going down, that officially marked the end of the bear market, and then the stock started going up down here, if you can see that. And then there was a second wave where we kind of moved sideways, but the biggest dump happens with this first peak right here. And that's what we're seeing again right here with the inflation that we're currently experiencing. Inflation has gone up extremely high, and now we're completely dumping. Once we start to see this peak in our current trend start to go down, that's when it's really going to mark the end of our bear market, and we can start to expect at least sideways movement and then further upside to come from there. Now, trust me, I lost quite a bit during this Bitcoin and stock market dump, along with a lot of other people out there. But one thing is, like, if you feel bad about that, you can imagine some of these other people like Michael Saylor, who's having right now an unrealized loss of over $1 billion with his $4 billion bet on Bitcoin, now facing possible margin calls if the Bitcoin price breaches 21,000, which it already did yesterday. Now Michael Saylor's forced to put in tens and hundreds of millions of dollars to add to his Bitcoin position. Otherwise, he's going to be liquidated, and all that Bitcoin's going to be flooded onto the market as a sell order, and it will further cascade in a big liquidation candle, more and more Bitcoin price sliding down. Now, again, we have Elon Musk, we have President Bukele of El Salvador, MicroStrategy and Tesla, Block. All these big companies had massive holdings in Bitcoin, and they're under their average buy-in price. At the last count, the president of El Salvador owned 2,300 Bitcoin at an average price of $45,000. That's extremely high compared to where we are at right now. Jack Dorsey from Block has the lowest average purchase price at $27,000 and holds 8,000 Bitcoin. I mean, the hundreds of millions of dollars that these people are underwater is just catastrophic, and I don't think it's going to continue forever. The biggest whales out there are not going to be completely liquidated. The market, and I believe the Fed, is going to switch their stance very soon, which I'm going to get to in just a second. But Elon Musk owns approximately 42,000 Bitcoin, and his average buy-in was around $31,600. So all these big dogs are underwater. I think the Federal Reserve is going to give us some leeway. This is one of the important dates that you need to look out for, which is tomorrow. And that's going to be the FOMC meeting where they're going to announce their next interest rate hike. This article is again talking about how we bounce on the 200 SMA, which is an important feature of Bitcoin bear markets and has acted as support through previous cycles. But if we come right down here, since we just had that unexpected increase in inflation going up to 8.6%, a lot of people are anticipating that the Fed is going to come out with a 0.75% interest rate hike. Now, I think they saw the markets dumping so much and they might be a little more dovish instead of hawkish and maybe give us a 0.5% instead of a 0.75% interest rate hike If we have that, that might give the markets enough to have a little relief rally. If we come to the weekly, actually on the SPX, you can see there's a massive gap down in the SPX. Whenever there's a big gap like this, they always come back and fill it. So before you know it, boom, we could start seeing green candles. It all depends on what the Fed is going to come out and say. That's why I'm starting to dollar cost average in at these low $20,000 levels for Bitcoin. I've even purchased some Amazon stock and some Tesla stock. Everything is down, and this is that opportunity I'm talking about. You need to really start thinking about opening up accounts to start getting your money in there, because after the dollar plummets again, which it inevitably will because of how much we've printed, we are going to see a huge rally. And if you didn't get in at these low prices, it's going to be pretty sad. Now, one of the other very important dates you want to keep an eye out for is April 1st, 2024. This is the next halving event for Bitcoin. This ultimately shows exactly when the next bull run is about to start. And keep in mind, stock markets, investors, everyone prices in things way earlier than the actual day itself to front run the massive bull run that's about to come. What is the Bitcoin halving? New Bitcoins are issued by the Bitcoin network every 10 minutes. For the first 4 years of Bitcoin's existence, the amount of new Bitcoins issued every 10 minutes was 50. Every 4 years, that number is cut in half. That's why it's called the halving cycle. So when the first halving cycle happened in 2012, the amount of Bitcoin produced every 10 minutes dropped from 50 to 25. In 2016, again, this happens every 4 years. So in 2016, it dropped from 25 to 12.5 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. Then in the most recent halving cycle on May 11th, 2020, the amount of Bitcoin dropped from 12.5 to 6.25 Bitcoin per block. The halving in 2024 will drop from 6.25 to 3.125 Bitcoin for every 10 minutes of miners minting new Bitcoin. This is why the Bitcoin price will inevitably, continually, algorithmically increase in price, because it's getting more and more scarce. Every 4 years, less and less Bitcoin are minted until, I guess, in the year 2140 or something, the last Bitcoin will have been minted. And then there's only 21 million Bitcoin out there that will ever be in existence. And if you own one, then you have money that can never be tampered with. If you own it on a hard wallet or something like that, you can send it to anyone with a Bitcoin address in the world and no one can tamper with it. And that is so important going into this world and day and age where everything is under surveillance. Everything is being checked and monitored. And when you're able to have things where you're still self-sovereign and free, and I mean just freedom, guys. This is what Bitcoin is. It's freedom, monetary freedom. And this is what's going to be very important going into the future when big companies are leaking your data and all this other crazy stuff, guys. I was just in a Hollywood film. Okay, I was on Temptation Island, this TV show. And now my information is like out there and people know all this different stuff about me. Like once things get leaked, it's out on the internet forever. So I'm all about freedom. On that quick note of freedom, I want to let you know for $2 a month, you can protect your identity on your computer with the Surfshark VPN. It masks your computer's IP address and you can actually get on different crypto exchanges from anywhere in the world, which is really important to do if you want to get on things like Binance and KuCoin. So I'll leave a link down below for you guys. It's like 83% off if you use that. Couple bucks a month. Go check it out, support the channel, and mask your identity online. I can't stress that enough. When you invest right now, I would only recommend dollar cost averaging in with spot Bitcoin purchases. That means you're buying Bitcoin without any leverage. Because when you are leveraged, there's a thing called a liquidation price. And if Bitcoin hits that liquidation price, boom, you lost all the money in your trade. However, if you buy spot Bitcoin, Bitcoin can go down to $0, but you'll still hold that amount of Bitcoin that you had and you can never lose it. So people that were on leverage trading lost literally $1.3 billion in the last 24 hours as Bitcoin threatens to breach 20,000. So it shows you massive amounts of liquidations here. And this is what happens when people use leverage. Yes, you can play with way more money than you originally put in, and that could allow you to make a lot. but it can also amplify the losses that you have as well. With all that said, I'm happy I could bring this video to you guys. Again, check out that KuCoin tutorial, set up an account, and just be ready for it, guys. If you are ready to catch some of these capitulation wicks and candles that are going to crash the market down, you want to be able to get in and ride that thing up for the next bull market. This is where millionaires are made. They're made in the bear markets when you can buy things for pennies on the dollar. Thanks so much. Please don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. I've taken a little bit of a hiatus here. Like I said, I did this whole TV show. I've been doing podcasts. I've just needed to recollect my mind and my life before coming out and making another video. Watching the markets dump, no one likes it. But again, I'm super optimistic on the next 2 to 3 years, wherever that takes us. I know nothing goes down forever, so thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next video. Peace.